going to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Hey everybody, welcome to Stupid O'Clock. I fixed it, Dan.
I saw that, yeah.
How the hell did you do that? Who'd you pay?
It was a corrupt export. I had to go back in and re-export it from my video editor.
Gotcha.
Okay. Good. I'm just going, ooh, this is where it skipped before. Oh, it's working.
I was watching for it too. I was like, oh, it's just he playing the same video again.
And then, of course, I had to open it with the gotcha.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I saw you scratch your nose, Dan.
And right after that, I was thinking, now, why has this become a joke? I mean, it wasn't a bad song. It's just people go, oh, here's something, blah, 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 and it comes up with that, and it's like, how did this become the standard for gotchas?
I have no idea, other than Rick Astley being a really nice guy. But there are songs throughout history that got so much repetitious play on the airwaves that they became, even though
you light up my life, Debbie Bennett.
They were, even though some of them were very serious songs, they got so much airplay at the time it became ridiculous. Case in point, Queensryche had this song called Silent Lucidity.
Mm-hmm.
And after the first year, the radio station started calling it endless rapidity.
Yeah.
It was because it was just you couldn't listen to the radio for an hour without hearing this song. It was just
You've got better radio stations than I've got down here, because the ones down here, they play the same.
They play two types of music: country and western.
In Western.
No. Even the non-country stations, they play the same 10 to 12 songs every hour, every day.
There's this new trend in
Because they don't have a high budget, so that they can only license 10 songs.
Yes, there is a new thing. There's a trend in radio where they buy programming packets. Okay. And if you listen to a radio station all day, if you have it on the background, and Christmas time, a lot of people have radio stations on in the background. But if you listen to any radio station, you'll start seeing that loop.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed it at the grocery store. Apparently, they're using one of these services to play music on their store, inside the store. And strangely enough, it plays the same programming loop that Carrie Gelly's radio station plays here in town. So it's kind of funny. I'm listening to Gary Kelly's radio station in my car to drive to the grocery store. And then when I get out, it's like, if I get out of the car when it's halfway through a song, I can walk into the grocery store and the same song is playing exactly 30 seconds along from the time it took me to walk from my car into the grocery store. Even now, here's what's funny. The radio station in the car is playing local Chattanooga advertising. The radio station in the grocery store, which is Ingles, is playing Ingles advertising. So
what does that tell you, John?
Ingles has jobs as a DJ.
Well, it's kind of funny. They've got, Ingles is now hiring, and then they'll have, I can't remember her name, but she's the nutritionist for Ingles. And apparently, if you go to her website, she's got all sorts of dietary things and recipes and things of this nature. So she advertises food that they sell at Ingles. Her biggest one that I hear it every time I walk in the news. You got to be careful about hidden sugar in food.
Don't have to be careful. You can tell. There's some brands of canned goods that I will no longer buy because they are just absolutely. I mean, no, it's worse than that. You don't want a can of tomato soup that you've got to put vinegar and salt in order to keep it from tasting like tomato candy.
Okay. Red wine.
Red wine?
Red wine. You know how they tell you with tomato soup, you put in a can of water if it's condensed tomato soup? Put in about 2/3 water and then put in 1/3 red wine.
Well, I'll
John, what you're talking
at work, but
John, what you're talking about, the radio stations and this generic airplay among various businesses that carry that, it's exactly like that episode of WKRP where Venus Flytrap is trying to get hired to this other radio station, which makes tons of money, and it's all computer dubbed in stuff. And I mean, that's what there's two radio stations that I know of, and I don't know the call letters of either one, but they're on the other side of the Wabash over in Indiana, and they're both top 40. And you can, just like you said, you can listen to one station, turn over to the other station, and hear it like they were 30, 40 seconds behind.
Well, everything, literally everything nowadays is over the internet. It's all computerized. I mean, it's not. Radio stations do not have 45s or CDs or any of that. They don't even use the carts anymore.
No, it's all digital.
It's all digital. It's all on a computer. I could run a radio station with this thing right here. Okay.
Yeah, really. I've got 3 terabytes of music. I could do a 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s aughts radio station
Hey,
for
there
my
you go,
disc.
Dan. You need to start your own like internet radio station. Get the
Oh,
license.
Lord.
And start selling advertising and do the classic '70s stuff. Like the
That would be easy enough. That would be
original
easy enough.
Chicago and Doobie Brothers.
Well, Jamie
That's what
Roberts.
our WKIO plays.
Yeah, Jamie Roberts did that here in Chattanooga with the train.
Do you remember my brother Joe had this thing that they were doing? It was on public access called Fuel TV. And they paid him for the rights to the name and then started a big organization called Fuel TV.
Oh yeah,
They didn't pay him much, but they did pay him. So.
Now, I found one that I can get at work and almost all the way home. So evidently it's a low power station. But it has probably the second most eclectic mix of stuff that I have ever heard, and almost no commercials. And only about the news only comes on like, well, considering I have to get out of my lab and away from the radio and do my job, I only hear a news broadcast come out of it. It's just a few minutes long, and it's like every 6 hours, 4 hours at the most, and that's it. I mean, it's music. It's no DJ's voice. But it's the genres it covers is really, really wild, and some of the stuff is absolutely wonderful, and some of it is going, I heard this on MTV once.
What's with the pencils?
It's an ancient scribing device. The kids today don't know what this is. What is that rubber thing on the back of your stylus?
What? No. Why does your stylus have this
It's a
point
grip.
that marks on everything?
Yeah, really.
Rubber thing on the end of the stylus. That's what the darn thing is for, Toot, 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 toot,
I used to
toot.
drive out to see my family out in Texas, and they lived they were living in Tyler Longview for a while, and then they moved up north to Dallas. And it never, you leave Chattanooga early in the morning, but by the time you get out there, it's late at night, and stops and eating and everything. But I had a '67 Ford Fairlane, AM radio.
Congratulations.
Yes, AM radio.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to have so much fun driving along, finding the local, because there's basically, if you do it just right, there's a college town every so often, and you can tune in the local college station, and they're usually lower on the dial. But tune into local college stations, and they would always have the what was their alternative programming,
Mm-hmm.
And there was this one out of Montgomery, and this was later on after it was an FM station. But I was driving home. It was late at night. I'd been driving all day from Texas back to Chattanooga and caught that station. And they just played Tangerine Dream, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Emerson, Lake and Powell, just all this,
Emerson, Lake, Palmer, and Young. Okay, I just told my age, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Really?
I hope Neil Young will
that wasn't bad.
I hope Neil Young will remember that a Southern man don't need him around anyhow.
I don't know about that.
I don't. They proved it time and time again.
I do like me some Neil Young.
It's kind of funny. Neil Young can't make good music anymore, so he keeps making political statements. Anyway,
There's a contemporary Christian station.
He can't make those either, so I don't even know what he's doing.
That's in 4 different markets with 4 different station frequencies that they play on. It's the same station, with the same exact timing
radio.
on everything.
Family Life Radio.
Then there has to be a second one. Okay, there might be one that actually Family Life Radio Sun submitted, so there probably is a second one. But there's one up here that it's in Peoria. It's one station. In Chicago, it's another. In Valparaiso, it's another. And then out by South Bend, it's yet another.
They go in and they buy up the
transmitters. Yeah.
The transmitters in the commercial free band, and it's usually struggling college radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened here. I mean, I lived just a mile from Chattanooga State's transmitter,
which used to be a very good alternative radio.
Oh yeah, the Wall.
God, it is so sad that they don't do that. They used to have a big, you know what Lewis is doing now, where he's teaching video production and all sort of stuff like that.
Yeah,
they used to have at Chattanooga State a huge video audio production. I'm not sure what the college class is called. Broadcasting, whatever you
communications and broadcasting.
Communication. Yeah. They used to have a huge facility out there. Had its own building and everything. Had their own radio station. They did Channel 45, which was local public access.
PBS.
PBS station. They were one of the stations that did Doctor Who for a while, I think.
Yeah.
And back in the old days. And it was all great. And they sold out. Apparently, they're teaching people how to
the
weave gender neutrals out of hemp or something.
The class is still there. The station is still there. The station still broadcasts, but it's internet only.
I'll tell you, I think...
Darn those kids and their internet broadcasting. Oh, wait a minute. What are we doing right now?
Well, the thing about it is, they say what comes around goes around and comes around again. That's why all the Gen Xers and the hipster doofus kids love vinyl now, and they can't get enough. And not vinyl of the groups of their days, but vinyl of the groups of our days.
I literally heard a couple of kids the other day talking about
Gen Xers have always loved vinyl.
They needed to start a store that did nothing but sell vinyl records. And I was like, wait a minute. Didn't your mom and dad get rid of that shit for me?
Well,
you've seen pictures of my living room. 500 vinyl albums.
Okay, as big as WLS was back in the day, they were the rock of Chicago, AM rock. You had John Records Landecker. Records is my middle name. Larry Lujak, Tommy Edwards, on and on and on. And then, of course, one day they just switched to all talk radio. Like us talking, and not news or anything like that, because that's the way things were going in late 80s, early 90s. Things were kind of spinning out of control and going a different direction, and I get it. I think because WLS is having problems. First of all, they're losing all the good people that they had before. They keep screwing them over and that. And I really think someday, if they get an owner who's gutsy enough or ballsy enough, they're going to turn around and say, let's go back and play music again. But, even now they have a WLS FM, that is a classic rock station. But to do the AM, the big 50,000 watt mofo that they have, that you can hear WLS through, I can't remember how many states in the lower 48, but I think that's what people want. You don't want the same songs, like you were saying, country and Western, or yes, we play both hip and hop, and that's what it's come down to. I think that, getting back to more eclectic stuff, more of the, like you were talking about, alternative or college radio stations, that would be the thing. And also with disc jockeys, with rock jocks again. And because you learn more stuff from them, and eventually it's like you're tuning in to hear them as opposed to the music. We got one, I always talk about WKIO, and I'm hearing him talk today. For one, he's saying, he kind of does a little tease about a song coming up. He's saying, what would you end up recording if you had Glenn Fry riding around in a truck with you in the middle of the desert? And then when he comes back, he's talking about a story before the days of the Eagles, Glenn Fry riding around with Linda Ronstadt, which of course everybody knows that the Eagles were backup band for Linda Ronstadt before they got popular. And told Linda Ronstadt, hey, listen to this song. I think you really ought to record this song. And it's Chuck Berry. What was it? Living in the USA or whatever, the one that Linda Ronstadt would record. So I don't know.
Well,
we have this radio.
Bill, I can give you two reasons why that'll never happen. Clear Channel and Cumulus Broadcasting.
I don't know about Cumulus, but Clear Channel is swamped down in Georgia.
We have this local radio station. They play heavy metal music, for lack of a better term, and they reformat it, or they didn't reformat, but they got bought out. Corporate radio. They fired all the local personalities. And for some reason, and this is telling you how out of touch they are with the locals. This was the radio station that did local bands. They would talk about, they would promote local bands, local music. Like this. So they bought them out. They got rid of all the regular local DJs and started piping in music from a DJ out in California who was literally trying to sell you tickets to shows at bars in Los Angeles, in Chattanooga. Yeah, I'm going to jump on a plane, spend $2,000 to fly out there and
see a garage band
and watch some garage band at CBGB's or whatever. And they protested. I mean, all the listeners went to the online thing and protested, and they brought back most of the DJs that they had fired.
That sounds like the Rock 105 incident.
That is exactly Rock 105.
Yeah.
And Carl, to respond to Carl's comment on there, I know what you're saying about big bands or music of our dads or whatever, but look how big swing music got in the 90s. I mean, Brian Setzer Orchestra is still going strong.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Postmodern Jukebox?
Oh, yeah.
I love them. I really do.
What was it? Voodoo Daddy, Big Voodoo Daddy, or whatever. There was a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. Postmodern Jukebox used to play in Chattanooga at what they call at what's called the Walker Theater, which is above our big Soldiers and Sailors Auditorium. It got to the point that they were having to do 2 shows. So now they moved them to the Tivoli.
Have you ever heard of Alice Francis?
No, but I'm a big fan of Alice Cooper.
I knew that.
And Connie Francis.
Alice Francis is one of those. She does the big swing type music, but it's modern swing. But if you ever get a chance, she's pretty good. She's got this one video called St. James Ballroom. You ever get a chance, watch some of her stuff.
Yeah, real. Lindsay Sterling.
Sterling.
Yes.
Oh,
But yeah,
a mix of violin and ballet.
and dubstep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember her audition on America's Got Talent.
Oh yes, I've seen that. I've seen that on YouTube.
And Simon Cowell says you'll never go anywhere doing that stuff.
Them passing on her's the biggest thing for her career because then she discovered YouTube.
Yeah.
Now, to what Carl just said, that's why I was waving my phone. Yeah, it's with Spotify and Pandora and all the other streaming services that folks have today, and the fact that these integrate so seamlessly with our cars and stuff like that. I would be surprised if Sirius lasts more than another decade or two. I see their day coming to an end in the near future.
I am serious. Don't call me Shirley.
My mom
The thing about it
hated
is,
that
once
joke.
again,
Her name was Shirley.
it's the on-air personalities that make or break it. The music, you're going to hear it 50,000 times on 50,000 other radio stations, and it's all going to sound the same.
There was a guy that I heard on a local rock station for about 3-4 years in a row, late night DJ, and he had a great sense of humor and played some really, really good stuff. Managed to dip back into some obscure stuff that I remember from college not being entirely all that popular, but it was good music. And then one day he disappeared from that radio station. And because I'm at the mercy of other people's radios at work, somebody was playing a country music station, and there was that voice. That was him. So
I like listening to actual broadcast radio to hear new stuff. Because I curate what I listen to. And I'm like, okay, I want to listen to this stuff, and sometimes I'll let it go. Okay, shuffle songs that are like this to discover something new and stuff like that. But I can have a much more music.
Chris?
Hello.
Subject matter.
I think I recognize where you're at.
You might.
But
I recognize that wallpaper. Wait a minute.
Is that wallpaper or paint?
Paint.
Well, the thing that I was getting at was there was a phone-in request line, and I actually called him up sitting there at the country music station and said, "Hey, man, what's going on?" He goes, "Well, this one pays a little bit more, so I changed stations." I mean, it's all music. If you got a broad enough mind, it doesn't matter if it's country or rock or classical. It's all good. And I go, yeah. They've got this new mix of country music and rock music. And he goes, "Really?" Yeah, I said, "It's crap."
I was dating this girl, and we went out to Eastgate Mall to watch a movie. That's how long ago this was. And it's late at night, and we're sitting there, and we're just walking around talking. And there's a local radio station. I can't even remember the call letters of the radio station, but their studio was at Eastgate Mall.
B103.
No,
Owned by Herb Adcox.
No, that wasn't it. I don't think.
Yeah, that was it because I worked for him.
But
I was their mascot.
We went out there, and they had this window you could see the DJ as he was doing whatever, and we were walking by. So we waved at him, and he was like, "Hey," and he's like, and he buzzed us in to the radio station just because it was late at night. He didn't have anything to do, and we're waiting on the midnight movie. So I go in there talking to the guy, and he's sitting there talking, and somehow, there's something clicking in my brain. Okay, that and I'm like, I like this guy. I like this guy, but I can't figure out why. So I'm sitting here listening, and all of a sudden he lights up a cigarette, and he's smoking a cigarette, and it hits me like a brick. Okay. I look at him and go, "You were with 2nd Ranger Battalion at Fort Benning, Georgia." He goes, "Yeah, how'd you know?" I went to the land nav course at Fort Benning, Georgia, and you were one of the instructors. He goes, "How do you remember that?"
Clean living.
It was how he was smoking the cigarette, because I remembered that when he was giving us a class, or he wasn't really giving us a class. He was grading our results and explaining what we had done wrong, and smoking a cigarette while he was doing it. And and it's like that joke. I can't remember the comedian told it. It says, he smokes a cigarette like he's in pain, because he takes a,
Oh, okay. I thought it might have been, hiding the fire with the palm of your hand to confuse snipers.
No, it's the way he did it was like, the results of our land nav course were that painful that he had to smoke a cigarette to relieve the pain, kind of thing. Because the problem with this land nav course, it's in this little valley, and if you're standing on one hill looking down through the valley to the other hill, you could see the entire land nav course from one position. It's that small. And you have to be Johnny on the spot to figure out if it's this point or this point, because they're literally like 1.5 degrees off. So if you literally don't do your magnetic to grid azimuth conversion correctly, you'll get the wrong spot. So I think they did it on purpose, but it sucked.
Hey, it will teach you to pay attention to detail, wouldn't it?
Not really, no, because there's no way on earth that you're ever going to use that. It's kind of like what was the math thing? Multiplication and division of mixed fractions. They teach it to you in high school, but you're never going to use it the rest of your damn life.
I do.
Mixed fractions?
Uh-huh.
Like 32 73rds?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
remember a lot of the stuff that I have to test was the specs were drawn up by people that used the metric system, and then they converted to let us poor Americans understand the fractions from decimal to fractions.
I did drafting. I did drafting in high school. Okay. Everything was set fractions. Okay. 32nd, 64th, 128th. And then I joined the military, and of course, mortar platoon, everything was metric. Meters. We use the mil scale instead of degree scale because it's 20 times more accurate than degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I've never, ever in my entire life used a mixed fraction for anything. That was, unless it was anytime I've used a mixed fraction, it was a standard mixed fraction. Like 1/8 of a tablespoon, or, that sort of thing. A quarter cup of this.
Oh, John, if you have ever been a classically trained musician, and suddenly you are presented with a piece of sheet music written by Frank Zappa.
That don't count.
There's no such time signature.
Hallucinations don't count. Okay.
It's not a hallucination. I got the sheet music back here.
No, if Frank Zappa wrote it, there's a hallucination involved. I'll guarantee it.
Oh,
I just found out Walmart Radio is online.
Oh, what's on?
why?
Walmart Radio. Walmart has their own radio station.
Yeah,
Why?
It makes sense.
No, it makes sense. I mean, they got all those.
They
So
pipe it
does
nationwide to all the
Good-
stores. Yeah.
Goodwill does too,
I
And
thought,
they,
oddly enough.
I thought it was bad enough when they had their own YouTube channel of customers of Walmart.
Well, this is one where the employees call in and ask for stuff. Plus, I got the
Yeah.
DJs.
yeah, you can actually call a 800 number and talk to the DJ
Uh.
on the line.
They'll tell them what store they're in and all that.
Yeah.
And ask
Yeah,
song.
you have
This
to.
is Bob from store 2312 in Indianapolis.
I'd like
No,
a living wage, please.
what they when you call in, if you call in, you have to tell them what store you work for and your employee ID number before they'll ever talk to you.
That cuts down on the smart asses, don't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not really. Not with Walmart.
Oh, most of them just want to hear some music, hear a song that they like.
I can just see it now. No, I can't play Alice's Restaurant again.
Well, right now
what
they would
I
all be
usually
playing
don't
Christmas
that way.
music.
Why do all
I
the
think-
employees at the Walmart store want me to play Break Shit?
It used to be that all the stores, the day after Thanksgiving is when you started hearing the Christmas music
I went to Costco.
piped
I
in,
went to Costco
and now last week I heard it at
I
Meijer.
went to Costco today.
Yeah.
Costco is blaring Christmas music.
There's some stores I went in that was playing Christmas music shortly after 4th of
course.
July.
Costco has all the Christmas trees and Christmas decorations and stuff.
Mhm.
Now, I have gone against my normal tradition. I did assemble the Christmas tree. We have not decorated it yet, but I've assembled the Christmas tree because we normally do it the day after Thanksgiving, but the day before Thanksgiving is when I have my shoulder surgery. So I'm like, I'm not going to be able to assemble it after.
Yeah, I am a firm believer that Black Friday is for putting up Christmas decorations.
As
Definitely
a kid,
not
we
for
used to
shopping
do it
for me.
on Thanksgiving, simply because my grandmother was always 3 hours late to Thanksgiving dinner, and my parents had to find some way to shut us the hell up. Here, decorate the tree.
Well, I was looking forward to putting our tree up this year, but my wife has changed that idea now.
Oh,
dear.
you have cats.
Yeah.
Cats plural.
Well, what we did, Joe Dog,
And
when we were
climbers.
kids, my cat Tiger used to climb our Christmas tree, and he could fell a tree a whole lot quicker than a lumberjack could, just by climbing up the top of it and tipping it over. So Dad took fishing line and wrapped it around the tree, and then put a couple eyelet screws in the baseboards of the corner of the room where we would have the tree, just so that the tree would stay up. Now, that didn't mean to say that Tiger didn't bat and knock down or break every ornament that he could get his paws on, and that, unless you
Oh,
wired that
no.
up real good.
No.
Somebody
I swear. Okay. The dog we've got is a very large puppy. German Shepherd. And I just thought, we're going to have to put, if it ain't baby gates, it's going to have to be something taller, all the way around the tree to keep the dog
Get you a kennel run to put around it.
from jumping up and grabbing ornaments. And I'm going, oh no, my wife is going to be so pissed. We won't be able to see the Christmas tree because we've got the Stalag 13 chain link fence around it.
Barry's good about not climbing. His uncle, however, when we still had him, he broke down the lower 3 or 4 rows of branches on 2 Christmas trees. Because he wouldn't climb all the way up. He would just climb up just a couple of branches and just sit there. But Kisa was such a fat ass cat that it just
Carl,
it bent them all the way down.
oh Lord, have you seen
No.
have you seen how much bourbon that damn tree drinks?
Yeah. Well, with these 2 damn little hellions we've got now, it took Gray Cat, Mr. Cuddles, almost a year and a half to find the top of the cabinets.
Mm.
These suckers were on the top of the cabinets on the second day.
Oh shit, you got climbers.
I've always said that somebody needs to make a device that you put inside your Christmas tree and it's hidden in the Christmas tree, that it's motion sensor activated. And if your cat tries to get into your Christmas tree or mess with your ornaments and activates the motion sensor, it starts barking like a dog. And just
That'd make his dogs go nuts, though.
Yeah, the dog would come and attack the tree.
Oh, damn, that reminds me. Have any of y'all seen the damn Bark Box commercial?
Which one?
No.
They place "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" with squeaky toys.
Oh, that
Oh,
sounds
Lord.
despicable.
Oh my God. It sent my dogs into a frick frenzy.
Well, there's the dogs barking jingle bells on the Dr. Demento Christmas album.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that's not unbearable. But squeaky toys?
Yeah.
I remember that on an episode of WKRP.
Oh.
So did you see Buffalo, New York got record-setting snow, which that says something for Buffalo, New York.
They had like 4 feet the other day, and it was like in November. Just a little bit early.
I posted that online and caused a 50-car pileup in Atlanta just by posting a picture of it.
Oh, come on. Georgia shuts down if you see three flakes of snow actually falling from the sky. I didn't
like
realize that a videotape would do that, the same thing.
It's like that joke.
The South shuts down if you see flour on a counter.
What do you call ice hockey in Chattanooga?
A myth?
Swimming.
Swimming.
I think a lot of they ought to offer free flights to anybody that lives in the South over to New York State right now. And they could show them what real snow is. Because they have over 3 feet of it right at the moment.
Bill, something a lot of people don't realize is Atlanta is a very hilly terrain in the city. In fact, it was built there because it was 1,000 feet above sea level. And that was the requirement of the railroad when it was originally founded. And because of that, and the fact that they don't normally get snow, they don't have the equipment to deal with it when they have a major ice storm or snowstorm. And you also have people that have moved from up north that have forgotten how to drive in snow, and all the people that can't drive in dry pavement, much less wet or icy pavement.
All right, I got to go down the hall.
All right.
There is.
Say hi to the kids.
There is more snow clearing equipment in Monteagle, Tennessee, than there is in Chattanooga. For good reason.
There's people up here who the first snow of the year have no idea how to drive in it. It's like, people, it was here 9 months ago. What the hell is wrong with you?
Oh, it's bad.
We had some the other night, and I heard a meteorologist from Channel 3, WCIA out of Champaign, which I don't really watch that station anymore. because of their political views. But anyway, they were doing a live video, and it started out, it looked like sleet because it was bouncing, but it wasn't. And the way it mixed and froze, they called it grapple. And it's basically like hard frozen pieces of fluffy snow, but it's not sleet. And it will not react in the same way that sleet does on the road to that great of a degree. I guess if you had grapple, which was basically like a storm of it, and then if it got warm and then cooled down again, that would be a different story. But it unlike sleet, it doesn't harm the highways and all that. But I've never heard of this word. I'm no expert.
How many snow or snow pellets?
Other words for grapple are how many snow, soft hail, and snow pellets.
But the way they were talking about it, though, because I thought, well, that's sleet. Why are they calling it that?
It's a special kind of sleet.
Yeah, it's sleet that freezes. The water freezes around the snowflake as it's falling. Where sleet is really truly a melty. This is more freezy.
Well, it's freezing as it's coming into the atmosphere. Yeah. But
Carl's got a good.
Yep.
Everything here is fairly flat, so there's nothing to slow you down once you start sliding. Carl, I recommend looking up YouTube videos of Atlanta in the last blizzard. You will see people blowing up their car tires trying to climb a very gentle hill.
There's plenty to slow you down once you start sliding. Other cars, deer,
telephone poles,
trees,
the salt truck in front of you that can't drive either.
Hey, Kerry.
Hey, Kerry.
Hello, Facebook user.
Yes. Reveal yourself, Facebook user.
Not that way. Not that way.
Yes.
I didn't say expose. I said reveal. There's a difference.
I'm reading something right now. They've had these protests going on in Iran because that one girl got killed, and then it's just snowballed into everything.
Ties into the previous discussion.
Protesters yesterday, about 10 hours ago, this happened. Protesters set fire to the ancestral home of former Iran Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khomeini.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
They burnt his house down in protest.
Wow, that's a heavy kitty. I can hear the burn from here.
Yeah.
Now I got to play a Talking Heads song.
Get off of that.
Good night, Joe. Good night, Joe.
It froze up.
Nope. And when Joe gets back from the emergency room, we will continue that part of the discussion.
Joe, God is trying to tell you something.
Say what?
God is trying to tell you something, and He sent a cat to do
It is.
Yeah.
Is she really purring that loud?
Yes, I could hear her purr.
Obviously, you have good headphones.
I'm guessing the cat was right there, very close to the microphone.
Yeah, Carl, I got.
This is not the green room. This is not the green room. This is not the green room.
I hope
This
not.
is the blue room.
No.
I hope this isn't the green room because I hope she doesn't do what Lucy did during the green room.
Ooh.
This is Ethel. Yeah, Lucy.
Don't look, Ethel. I'm sorry. You give me a straight line.
I still hear Rich echoing in my brain. There's the money shot.
No, that was Joe saying the money shot.
Oh Lord.
Not sure.
No, I'm not putting that one up, Carl. I'm sorry. People are just going to read that one.
Oh, you're about to make a mess. Don't. No. All right. Sorry.
I don't know which is funnier, the cat doing what it's doing, or Joe actually telling a cat no.
Like that's going to work.
You can hope.
He likes to hear himself, I guess.
Believe it or not, with these cats, you tell them no, they stop and look at you and wait for you to look away.
And wait for you to look away. Yeah. I'll do it when you're not looking then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, I've got 2 cats. One of them is well behaved for the most part and does everything she can to, not annoy me. The other one is a climber and a boy, and he's just flat out.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Daddy's about to tell a story on you.
Oh boy.
That's over on the other side. So it's just before the show. Misty worked today, so she came home late, and she works tomorrow, so she's already dead. So I heard the purr for half a second there, but ran into the bedroom to give her a quick kiss goodnight and tell her goodnight and I love her and all that. So that
She makes you tell her that stuff, huh?
No, I do it because I want to. But the door was only partway closed, and then Barry just pushes the door open, noses in, starts coming in. I'm like, get out of here. He gets out, start talking to Misty again. Not even 10 seconds has passed, and I see him out of the corner of my eyes slinking back in. I said, get out. And he just jumped back away.
Oh. I got two feral kitties that I've been feeding outside all summer long in autumn. And right now, it's very, very cold up here. They say it's probably going to get down maybe into the single digits. I know 10 degrees is what they originally said for a low tonight. And so a few nights ago, knowing that this was coming up on us this weekend, I went out and I got a 21-inch by 18-inch by 12-inch stair-right tub with the lid on the top, and got out my Dremel tool. I think my neighbor next door to me, for all the sound he was hearing, I think he probably thought I was practicing becoming a dentist for all the drilling from the Dremel, cutting in, making this official size opening. And there's a certain way to do all this stuff, and I had to watch a couple videos to refresh myself. And of course, I put a little blanket in there, and then I decided I was going to put my heating pad in there too to try to keep it warm, and turn that up to medium tonight, because having it on low for the last few days, it wasn't doing anything. And of course, trying to get a feral cat to go into a little cat shelter, cat house, whatever. It's something that requires a lot of patience and a lot of time to get them to trust it. They have to check it out themselves. So I just put the food out there right next to it, and I'm just kind of hoping and praying, because these nights right now are, I know I couldn't survive out there like that.
Yes, Rich, let it flow through you.
They can probably feel the heat coming off of it, so they'll probably go in there and look at it.
Well,
or the food next to it will help too.
I put the food. Laura told me not to put the food inside
Yeah,
yet
I did that.
to get them, and I said, well, and I where I normally put the food dish outside my door there, which there's between my place and then there's a big old hedge, shrub there, and it's pretty well kind of to where they could be secluded while they eat. So I decided to put that little cat shelter there and then just run the cord inside through my door. But I'm hoping they will. I mean, I think, there's out of the two that I feed, I suspect that one does have another home that she goes to, but this other one, he's definitely big time feral. He won't come up to me or anything, or not yet.
Yeah.
Yep, and that one's right, Carl. Food dish inside the little cat shelter will bring possums and raccoons and possibly less desirable critters.
Yep.
That
is a
well, and if they do, they do. I mean,
y'all ain't got armadillos up there yet, do you? The operative word yet.
Well, we got cougars and black bears coming up here, and everything else.
Oh, there's coyotes in downtown Athens.
Oh yeah, we got coyotes. I don't want them around.
Hey.
Oh, because somebody thought it would be good to reintroduce them to the eastern U.S.
Sarah, yes, bobcats. My mom went out to. My mom went out to make sure that there wasn't any cat food left in the food bowl for her cat before she went to bed. Evidently, a bobcat came up out of the woods and ate the rest of the food, cleaning the bowl thoroughly and leaving muddy footprints on the carport. And Mom's going, "That's some big cat prints," and took a photograph of it. And my niece helped her look it up, and it was a bobcat. Evidently, there's something in the exact spread of the paws that lets you tell that from a cougar or any other large wild feline.
You're going to go back to Mama.
Is that the one that claimed you?
No, this is hers.
They're both hers, I thought.
This is the one she likes the most.
Okay. Time to nail that damn door shut.
Yeah, well, the reason she likes me so much is I'm the one that puts food in her bowl.
Oh. Yeah. They love the ones that feed them.
Slightly. Yeah.
Well, they're con artists. Whichever one they can get to feed them,
I had to pull up this story. This was just from a couple days ago. DNR reported that an Indiana man illegally dumped more than a ton of catfish in an Illinois lake. Guess it was like 2,600 pounds of light catfish in a lake in Plainfield, Illinois. And I guess he entered a guilty plea. One count of importing live fish without a permit. For his punishment, Sullivan received 24 months court supervision along with $227 in fines, court fees. He was also ordered to pay $10,500 into IDNR, Conservation Police Operations Assistance Fund.
Excuse me, for catfish? I gather they're non-native to that particular stretch of water.
And
Bill's froze. Okay. I don't know.
Catfish. You can find catfish in just about every stretch.
We got them in potholes down here.
Some of the potholes are big enough to hold them.
Heck, we got them on the internet. If you drive down the road and you got to look out for water skiers. I mean, shit.
Sorry about that, guys. Ugh. Cat got the last laugh as I threw her out.
Oh, the
Farted.
pain.
Yeah, she farted.
Yeah, they can be pretty potent.
Yeah, that's your cat.
What is
all
it
right.
about you and StreamYard and that room that makes cats fart?
I do not know.
Maybe you should stop feeding them your
I blame
leftover
the
chili.
chair. I blame that chair.
Oh, it looks like a comfy chair.
No, this is a different chair.
After that first cat fart, I don't blame you for changing chair. Um,
They probably smell the aroma in the room already, and they feel
I
comfortable
said,
in
hey, this
doing the
must be the room
same.
where everybody farts.
Oh Lord.
So when we were still in our old house, before we went to go stay with our dad for a little bit, we had a love seat that Misty and I sat on. And Barry would either sit behind my head or her head. If I was teaching a class and didn't have a virtual background on, he'd like to be behind my head doing weird shit so that, as I was training folks for the firm, that they're looking at my cat, licking himself instead of paying attention to what the hell I'm saying. Jerk. Yeah, doc me you. But his other favorite thing to do was sit behind Misty's head, and when she just got comfortable and was starting to fall asleep, he would just start cracking them off.
Made Chris leave.
No, I'm having to charge my phone, so I'm just stepping away for a minute.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi got real wonky. I don't know how much of that story you heard me telling before it went off. Or did you hear any of it at all?
We thought we heard the punchline, so.
No, there was this was just a couple days ago. Indiana man pleaded guilty to illegally dumping more than 2,600 pounds of live channel cats in a lake in Plainfield, Illinois, according to the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. And he entered a guilty plea in October to one count of importing live fish without a permit. For his punishment, Sullivan received 24 months of court supervision, along with $227 in fines and court fees. He was also ordered to pay $10,500 in restitution to IDNR Conservation Police Operations Assistant Fund and perform more than 30 hours of community service. So, but apparently on 3 different occasions, he was dumping all these channel cats in this lake, and they finally caught up with him. And somebody'd say, well, why is that? You go catch them there. Well, because you don't know what disease they're carrying with them. And, it's kind of like the whole
I'm trying to figure out what you got 2.5 or 2.25 tons of freaking catfish.
Yeah, really. I mean,
do you know what that would be worth? Do you know what that would be worth? Catfish fillet. Catfish.
You come down here to one of the Swamp Guinea or Red Minnow or one of those fish fry restaurants down here. I mean, the really good ones. That man would have made $500,000 easy.
Well, the problem is that the diseases that could be sent with these fish, and that's why Lake Michigan up there in Chicago, and that they had put all those underground fencing and everything to keep the Asian carp from coming in there, because they were destroying off all their other fish. So it'd be, like somebody with the plague, going wherever into
well, not just that much.
A movie theater or something, but it just, that
tax the resources.
seriously, if you're putting that many pounds of fish in I don't know how big the lake was, but that's really gonna put some stress on the.
Well, it depends on how big the catfish are.
Yeah.
Because if
It
it's a
depends on how
150
big the
pound
lake
catfish,
is.
you only drop 10
Yeah,
of them.
well,
No, that's-
it's gonna wreak havoc with the ecosystem, regardless of where it's at.
How many pounds was it?
Over they
600.
over 25 or 2,500.
That's just 3 of the channel cats up under Chickamauga Dam around
I
here.
I knew he was going to say that.
we could have done that with 5 catfish easy.
Yeah.
Hey,
I caught that last week.
Well, I hated it when a few years back someone caught a record blue catfish, and they were going to
hi, Sarah.
put it at a Cabela's, and it died in transit. Bye, Sarah. Have a good night.
I remember when catfish was like the cheap go-to food. It was right up there with canned tuna.
Yeah.
If you had to make something, catfish nugget, whatever, catfish fillets, fried fish, it was cheap. And now, I can't afford to buy catfish anymore. It's ridiculous.
The all-you-can-eat catfish dinner on Friday nights. Used to be, $6-7. Man, it's $12-14 now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Did this guy own a fish farm or something? That's how he got.
That's, strangely enough, I was seeing this the other day. There were, at the market, they had tilapia, farm-raised tilapia. Guess where it was farm-raised?
Georgia.
Lookout Mountain, Georgia.
Mm,
Literally
Oh,
about
okay.
2 miles outside of Chattanooga.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just the other side of Lookout Mountain,
yeah.
like you're heading toward Trenton.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's being fish farmed now
Yeah.
that you wouldn't have even thought about
Mhm.
30 years ago. I mean, nobody
Well-
even thought to try it.
There's a trout farm around us somewhere
Mhm.
that they allow you to go fishing at their trout farm,
Mhm.
but if you hook it, you take it home. You've bought it and you take it home,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and that's they get just about guarantee you every cast to bring in a trout.
I think there's a fishery somewhere near the southern end of Walker County.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
according
yeah,
to
Donna's right. Tuna isn't cheap anymore either.
Oh no!
well,
And dog
According
free
to
tuna is
IDNR.
even more.
now, what do y'all think that we had for supper tonight?
Catfish.
Fish and chips. It was cod. It wasn't catfish, but
Canned salmon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the cheapest meals that my mom used to make was salmon.
oh,
Yeah.
salmon patties.
Oh, I
Yes,
hate it.
Lord.
With the gravy, with the peas in it. It's just like,
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm right.
but
I'm
no.
right with you, Rich.
Uh,
I grew up Catholic. It was salmon patties every Friday night.
I grew up Southern.
can
It was
remember when
salmon
that
patties
stuff
on a special occasion, like
I can remember when that
Thursday.
stuff was 99 cents a pound. Now it's going for $4 and $5 a can.
Mm.
oh, this recession. The IDNR says that permits to import fish that are provided for free to importers as long as the fish are tested and disease free. And I said that most people within the fish transportation industry comply with IDNR regulations. But
And the guy's from
Yeah.
a stone's throw from where I grew up. He's from Griffith, Indiana. I grew up in Crown Point.
ow,
Joe, mute your damn microphone.
I will next time.
That was something that you would normally do in an elevator.
I don't see the cat anymore either.
No.
Yeah, you can't blame the cat. He kicked the
Yeah,
cat out. So
Professional courtesy. Yeah.
So at the bottom of this article, they have the around the web thing.
Yeah.
Honey Boo Boo is so skinny now, she looks like a model. Try not to stare.
Hello,
not even
Home
going
Hub. Welcome to the show. That's a new face we don't recognize. So, welcome.
Because we can't see your face. That's why.
Oh,
Yeah.
I may have made a mistake. I
Damn
might have to
yard.
go back on the phone in a minute.
We're not asking.
Please.
Do what?
We're not asking. Don't explain further.
Go change your shorts. We'll be here when you get back.
Hello.
what part of Africa? It's kind of a big continent.
Yep.
Mm,
No, I didn't make an accident, but things are building.
You look a little taller.
piles.
He just lost weight. About a pound.
No,
Hey,
I'm just trying to
Hi-yo.
get back from the smell. Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, that's the
Oh
exact
yeah.
salmon that.
You know you're from the South if this was a regular meal, after.
Mhm. Yep.
what does
Or
the Q
had
stand
family members that grew up in the Depression.
Mhm. Now my parents did grow up during the Depression, and let me tell you, Mama's salmon patties were legendary, and for a very good reason. They were excellent. So
I have two
whenever
cans of
that came up,
I have
it's
two
like,
cans of that.
oh
salmon.
Lord, I like this almost as much as I like pinto beans and chow chow.
I have to make. Now I'm hungry. I'm going to make salmon patties for.
Hey,
It's pinto beans and chow chow. Sounds like something I'd like.
hey,
Definitely the cat.
that-
Like it.
and cornbread and a big slab of butter and maybe a quarter slice of onion and yeah. Sorry. I just my mind went back to East Tennessee, so it'll catch up with where I'm at now. So
The truck stop that used to be up
I've done it. Feel better.
Good night,
Oh,
dog.
truck stop
yeah.
that used to
Feel
be up
better.
the road from here. He would turn around and have the catfish. Every Friday night, they'd offer the big special on it, and one of my brother's friends would come. He'd always have two big plates, one to put all this big pile of catfish on, and then the other plate was always empty, sitting right next to it. And they kept saying, "Why do you have two plates for, Jim?" And he'd say, "Because I need two plates." And then he says, "But you got this plate piled high with catfish and this other plate completely empty." And then about 20 minutes later, you realize that's where all the catfish bones and all that went, was to the empty
Oh.
plate.
Yep. Smart lad.
John, have you ever been to the Catfish House?
Is that the one that was over near Suck Creek?
It's on the other side of the river. On 41.
My
I
brain
have
is
not.
desperately trying to turn that into a joke, and I'm telling it, down, boy, down.
You and me both, man. You and me both.
That's a little
Yeah.
catfish house in Texas.
Oh yeah. Rich, that is because you and I
That's
think
more
so.
unhygienic house.
You and I think so much alike about 90% of the time. I'm surprised you don't finish my jokes as I'm starting to tell them. Oh. One day I got to have a long talk with that boy.
Oh,
What were some of the other foods that y'all ate as kids that you really don't eat that much anymore?
Salisbury steak.
Salisbury steak. I tried to make that the other day. Swiss steak, Salisbury steak.
My
I
mom
love
used to make a
Salisbury
thing
steak.
called city chicken. Basically, it was other weird cuts. It wasn't exactly chicken, but actually, I think it was beef, but it was on a skewer, so you kind of,
Okay.
Mhm.
almost like a little kebab type thing.
Yeah. See, I'm trying to think. Of course, when I was a kid, all the Hamburger Helper, Tuna Helper came out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I pretty much was raised on Hamburger Helper and Tuna Helper.
yeah.
And,
Did you
My
fix it
dad
like
liked-
Cousin Eddie's wife did?
then what were some of the other chicken livers, of course, beef liver, chicken liver.
No, I use those for fish bait. I ain't gonna eat them.
My dad
Fried
liked
chicken.
goulash.
I do a really good fried chicken livers.
We had goulash or spaghetti.
You
once a
might,
week.
but I still ain't gonna eat it.
Tacos
I
or
don't.
chili once a week.
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna sound silly, but
Every Sunday, Mom made steak and baked potato.
things that I miss that were in the Sunday dinner at my grandmother's, both grandmothers, quail, pheasant, squirrel and dumplings, chipmunks, deer.
A lot of venison.
Yeah, the neighbor's chicken that was walking around about an hour or two earlier. No,
When I was going to Costco today, I saw somebody that had a deer strapped to the top of their SUV. Look, about a 6-pointer. I was like, I was heading north on 75. They turned to go south on 75, so they're heading down toward Dalton or something.
yep. Sometimes I wish I wasn't so soft-hearted. I'd go back to hunting just because that was something that I grew up with. It was a way for my dad and my great uncle and one of my cousins to do together. It was kind of bonding time for the men of the clan, and not the K one, but Anyway, we would go
The
out.
Scottish one?
we would go out and get stuff, bring it home, clean it, turn it over to the women folk to cook because most of the men, best thing they could make was coffee. And now I did pick up lots of cooking lessons from my mom because I paid attention to what she was doing.
Of course, I used to help my mom cook all the time just because she needed somebody to open jars and stuff like that. And then I joined the military. I was in the Army for years and years and years. Of course, you're either eating dining facility food or rations.
Yeah.
And I probably spent half of my military paychecks throughout my career on food. Going out and eating. Just any time you get a day off. Just ridiculous. And after I got out of the military regular, I started cooking myself. So I actually enjoy cooking now. And of course, I've got all these old pots and pans that I grew up with laying around the house. It's kind of funny. I can remember when we bought our first microwave.
Oh,
It was one of those big, huge television set size microwaves. The one, what was the furniture store in Chattanooga? It was on Brainerd Road, and they sold the first microwaves in Chattanooga. Not Totten. I can't remember, but it was one of those ones. They advertised it by saying you can put a styrofoam cup of water in there, boil the water, and the cup will stay cool.
Hannah Adams.
Adams, that's the one. And then you can cook a whole turkey, and literally our first microwave could put a whole turkey in it. I wouldn't have cooked the damn thing. It would have turned into vinyl. But
I'm willing to bet that there is a calculator for putting in the weight of the turkey that you've got that'll tell you how long it needs to thaw out.
we got a smoker grill.
It
No,
was in
I'm
double
serious.
crack.
I'm serious.
Hey, Dan.
That nut. I'm going to brine the turkey.
It was a double fraction. Yeah.
It was in double fractions, and that's why John couldn't do it.
No, seriously. We've got
The problem is most turkeys come with the giblets and stuff, the neck and giblets inside the turkey.
well, you do have to take the plastic packet out first.
Exactly. So thawing the turkey in the microwave sucks because your giblet packet will explode. Just helpful hints from Stupid O'Clock.
No,
Let's see the convection microwave, and then you turn it to the convection oven side of it instead.
No, just put it in the fridge. Another good way of you can kill two birds with one stone with this one. Get your 5-gallon bucket, fill it about 1/3 full of water, just lukewarm, tap water. Take your turkey, put it in a plastic bag, preferably with your brine. And it's just water and salt, but you can add other stuff to it too. I did water, salt, sugar, and beer, and some sugar. Wrap up the bag, but don't tie it all the way tight. And take a clamp or a clothespin or something like that, and attach the top of the bag to the top of the bucket. Drop it in the water, and the water you put in the bucket will displace around the plastic bag and keep the brine up against the turkey, which is why you don't want to close the bag all the way because you want to let the air out. Put it in there and just let it soak for a day. And it'll thaw and brine at the same time. Again, the problem is if the giblets are in a plastic bag, it's not that big a problem. But if they're in a paper wrapper, you just brine your neck and liver and all that sort of stuff.
And a heart.
And a heart. Yeah, everything. And that's what you want for your gravy, making a giblet gravy. Where's Lewis when we need him?
Working, probably.
John, you were talking about cooking things in the microwave and that. Do you remember when they first came out with the bacon tray for the microwave, which had basically looked like a paint tray with the little reservoir down on the end and all? And we just thought that was the most wonderful thing ever. And then all that grease was draining out.
I've got one that's actually it's a combination bacon cooker for your microwave and a marinade dish for meat. And it comes with a lid, and the lid and the base are the same thing.
Excuse me.
They just hook together. And it's kind of like you can take, because it's flat, it stores easy. And you can put your meats down in it, pour your marinade in on top of it, put the lid on it, stick it in the fridge, and it slips into a fridge shelf real easy too. But
I made some Pillsbury cinnamon rolls to have for breakfast tomorrow, and I notice on the instructions on the side of the tube, now they have air fryer instructions as well as with everything else.
I have never seen an air fryer big enough to cook a turkey. But I do.
No.
There are some things that an air fryer does excellent. French fries, hash browns, tater tots, fish sticks, cheese sticks, and chicken nuggets do excellent in an air fryer.
Hot dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Hot dogs.
My
are-
Ore-Ida Golden Crispers are perfect out there. I spray a little bit of butter Pam on them and a little bit of Morton sea salt, and good to go in 9 minutes.
Egg rolls are good in the air fryer too.
That's what that and the pizza rolls and stuff like that. The one I really want to try, spanakopita, because you can get little spanacopitas at Costco, and they come in the plastic racks, and you put them in the oven for a little while, and they're pretty good. The only problem is it's hard to make a good spanakopita sauce because you got to have cucumber.
I've got no clue what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, Greek spinach pie.
It's a pastry kind of thing.
It's a spinach burrito.
Oh, okay.
Feta cheese, spinach, and all that sort of in a pastry shell. It's kind of a Greek thing.
And the reason I know that is because I used to watch a cartoon that was called The Venture Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an episode about spanakopita, and I saw the episode title, and I go, Spank what?
Let's see here. Joe, you'd probably like them. Let me show you. There we go.
What? Oh,
If you like spinach quesadillas, you'll love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I shall return.
oh, that's
Going down the hall.
All
What?
right.
and the thing is, the sauce requires what is it called? Labna yogurt, which is that thick Mediterranean yogurt that's good for making dips and stuff like that. And cucumber, you got to what's that thing that every Southern kitchen has? It's the little sheet metal box, the handle on top, and the different size holes all the way around it.
Grater.
Grater. Thank you. I just could not. My brain wouldn't wrap around that word. You have to grate some cucumber to make it, and it's pretty darn good. And some mint. I think there's mint involved.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like the gyros tzatziki sauce,
Yes.
but slightly tweaked.
That's another thing I need to make is I need to make me a good. I don't have a grill with a rotisserie anymore. I used to, and then I gave the grill to my brother, and it got lost in a divorce. But there was this one place in Berlin that made doner kebabs, is what they called their gyros.
Mm.
And it was on Girl Watcher's Corner. The store's been gone for a long time. I know I Google mapped it occasionally, just reminiscing. But this place, oh man, you go in there, ask for the extra sauce, and had soft pita bread, and they had the big rotisserie, the vertical rotisserie, where they cook the thing inside the big stove, and he'd take that big knife and that tray and just slice that meat off nice and thin, and it was, man, those things were great. Cabbage and all sorts of good stuff.
I used to work for a little dive hole in the wall called Double D's Dogs and Deli, run by a couple of brothers. I started out as a delivery driver, and then to give me and my best friend more hours, they also brought us in back so that we were starting to work the back of the house too and stuff like that. The first day that I was in the back of the house, like, all right, you're making tzatziki sauce. Huh? How the hell do I do that? So I remember lemon juice was involved, Greek yogurt and cucumber and onion, and I think there was something else beyond that. But it's the basis. But apparently I did a decent job because, they liked it. And none of the customers did, so.
You guys got to stop talking about food. I'm getting really hungry. Jeez. Because vitamin water is just not doing it.
Alton Brown had a good recipe to basically make gyros by just making what you would normally cut off the vertical rotisserie as a meatloaf, and then just doing that in.
I've seen that. They do it in a bread pan.
Yeah.
So you get that same effect, sort of.
Okay, guys, we've lost 4 audience members. Everybody got hungry and left.
Change the subject. Hey, I do have a question for you, all you techno geeks out there. Okay, so I'm old school uh, as far as watching TV. I do it from an antenna. Now I had one of these. Oh, I think I could reach over and grab it. And these black Mariahs, I call them.
Oh, the indoor antenna things.
Yeah, the ones from RCA.
Yeah.
And they do kind of good, kind of not good. Now that the leaves are off the trees, they're doing a little bit better. But about a week ago, I bought one of the same brand, one of the attic antennas. It's attic/outdoor antenna. And actually had it hanging from the lamp in the kitchen. You should have seen that. If that didn't look like something, I don't know what, but I was just kind of playing with it. And of course, it was picking some stuff up, but it really needed to be either in the attic, which was not going to be an option, or outside. So I got a couple, about two 5-foot pieces of mast that you just fit together, aluminum mast. And they're crimped on one end, so you just shove them in and you don't have to bolt anything or whatever. Of course, you can never get them loose again once you do that, but so be it. And I put it up outside and then used the grounding rod actually to anchor it to the ground with that. At first, when I was rescanning all my channels, I was getting zilch. And I thought, there's a loose connection or something, because I did have to use a little adapter to connect two male ends of coaxes together. And so I checked all that, made sure everything's all tight. And then I kind of moved the antenna a little bit, and it pulled up 27 stations. But then about 8 of them dropped out after 5 minutes. And I don't know, I know I used to talk with a TV friend of mine, Doug Quick, which Carl and Donna will know who that is. But anyway, he told me, he said that you got to have it so high in the air, but if you get it up to a certain height, you're kind of in a dead zone. And you either got to go below it or above it to get to where you can pull more stuff in again. So right now, everything is probably about 14 foot in the air. And of course, these antennas are not very big. I mean, but they're not they're about half the size of a regular outside antenna.
Yeah. But need to go at least another 10 to 15 up, because normally for something like that, to make sure that you are able to get good signal for it, you want it above houses, above trees, because it's still a signal that's bouncing off of clouds and everything around.
Well,
if you're
I got cornfield across the road from me, but there is a line of trees that were built as windbreaks that I will never get above them. I did go back to Menards today to buy another section of mast, which between the wind and the cold temperatures today, there was no way I was going to get out there today to do it, but I might try to do it tomorrow or
most
Monday,
often
because
you just need to make sure it gets above the roof line of most homes. And
You want me to save you some money on mast?
What's that?
Buy top rail for chain link fence. It's the same shit.
Well, yeah.
And you get it in longer sections.
Well, and that's true. But because I can't anchor anything to where I'm living, because I live in an apartment. It's one-story apartment, but they don't really want us to anchor anything to the apartment, which I get that. So I got this huge honking 4-armed shepherd's hooks that I have to hang all my bird feeders and everything with. And between that and then, like I said, the big 5-foot grounding rod that I got about probably 2.5, almost 3 foot of that into the ground, I have it anchored out a ways enough. But what Rich said about the roof line, I'm right at the where the down, or not the downspout, but just the regular gutter is that goes across, and there's a little bit more. So I think like this is like I said, 5-foot sections, and they're like $7 and something.
All right,
Which,
so you're right about the gutter. So how steep of a pitch do you have to your roof? Is it a pitched roof or is it a flat roof?
It's pitched, not much of a pitch. I couldn't tell you what kind of pitch it is because it's in double fractions, and I just can't figure that out. But no, but truthfully, I think once I put this on there, I'll be above it.
Yeah, 5 to 10 more feet, you're probably good above it. But are there any other buildings towering above your building?
No.
All right. Yeah, another 5 to 10 feet would be good.
To the north, across the street from us is Oakwood Rescue, and they have a honking cell tower over there that's 50 foot, I think, and or if not more. But I don't think that would. I think the most part of what was blocking me where I have it and where I need to aim it. Now I did RCA on their attic antennas, or all their antennas. They have a app that you can download that's a signal finder, and I've yet to play around with that too, which I'll either do that tomorrow or Monday, whatever day I get back out there to work on it. But I just, especially because of mainly the cornfield being across the street, and it is flat out here, and it's just those one row of trees that are directly across from my kitchen door. But like I say, all the leaves are off of it now, so I wouldn't think they would be that much of a hindrance. But they are probably 30, 40-foot trees, though.
Yeah, anything that can stop the signal, because it's still a radio signal being transmitted and bouncing and stuff like that. So if the way things are, the angle is just wrong. So when we lived at the house before we moved out to Dad's, and then to here, we were in a lower area, so we were too low because of how everything sat. So we had to have cable or just rely on streaming services, or get satellite. Yeah, we couldn't just get the digital antenna and stuff like that. We tried. It's just we were so far out in BFE, it's not even funny. And then 2, we were at just a low place, so the angles weren't good. Now, if I tried to do that here, we'd probably be okay. But we've got so many free streaming services that we can watch whatever the hell we want over the internet. Through Peacock, because we have Xfinity, so we get Peacock for free. Pluto TV, and all that happiness. So it's
I get all that for free on mine, as much as I don't really watch it anymore through the same wonky Wi-Fi from my neighbor, just because I have a Vizio smart TV. But the main thing here is that we have so many TV stations with antenna. Well, actually, not even 5 miles away from me is the WICD tower, which is just a little bit southwest of me, and you could have no antenna at all and pick it up. Ironically, when I still lived on the edge of,
too, so you're close enough that you should be able to pick all those up with no problem.
yeah, well, ironically, when I lived closer to Carl and Donna, I lived over on the west side of Danville. They're called Batestown there, but I had an outside antenna on a tripod on the roof of my house facing the west. Where are all the trees in my yard? In the west. And anyway, so, you know, and they're all digital antennas now, Carl. There's no such thing as an analog antenna anymore, but anyway,
he's got a point. It might be the ground wire. I mean, you're not Nikola Tesla here. You don't have a 180-foot tower. So.
And Carl, it also depends on the type of antenna. Some of them are indoor, some of them are outdoor. It just depends.
Well, and this is supposed, you know, these are those typical attic antennas, which are smaller than the regular digital outdoor antennas, but they're rated to be both, you know, for indoor and outdoor. And I did a little bit of homework and watching some YouTube reviews on them compared to some of the other ones. And like the ones that say Ultra K 4D and all that stuff, no such thing. It doesn't matter. If they say that they're rated for that, they're all rated for that, because it doesn't amount to a hill of beans on that. And who cares? But the point is that just I picked up 35 channels being further away from everything than I did right now. But I have not, this is my first attempt to have an outdoor antenna where I'm at now.
I don't doubt it one bit, Carl.
Yeah, we've seen.
Yeah. If they're made for being in an attic, that means they're not weatherproof.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey, there we go.
Russian bot. Hey,
great to see you. Hate to be you.
Draft dodger.
Yeah.
Well, these are the exact same thing. I mean, there's no difference. And one thing I do, and Carl will get a kick out of this, taking the bar of wax and waxing all your elements of the antenna. I know that a lot back in the day, some people say, you know, you did that to help protect it from rust and everything.
Yeah.
And some people say, oh, don't do that because that cuts down on the RF signal. Which, of course, it doesn't. It's so thin.
I don't think wax would do that. No.
But that used to be the urban legend back in the heydays of CB radio.
There have been lots and lots of urban legends, and most of them are baloney.
Looks like the same one.
Yep. If I want to find a hot girl, dude, I'll go to the living room. She's watching TV. Bye-bye.
Yep, I got them. I got them on the block, but
it wouldn't
somehow,
wouldn't let you kill it.
It somehow slipped through.
Let's see. Nope.
It won't let me.
Yeah.
They're blocked. That one just slipped through. Maybe
okay,
Carl can delete it.
Doesn't matter. It'll show up in the recording, but that's about it.
But it's not on screen.
Yeah.
And it may not show up in playback.
That would be nice.
Oh, maybe not.
Because we blocked it.
That's the weird
Carl.
thing about StreamYard. You'll block somebody and they won't disappear.
Yeah.
And you can see him in
Oh,
live
Carl can't
chat,
see him.
but
He's right above you, Carl. Look up.
Chris's fan club, yeah, there's a
Okay, so
Yeah,
evidently it did get cleared out if Carl can't see them.
Yeah, I'm not seeing
okay.
Yeah, I still see him, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to Chris's fan club. They got he wasn't here long enough for a while, so they just moved on.
Yeah.
They moved on. I mean, seriously, that's
Hey.
50 little girls, and I say that as
Or
a 65-year-old.
so.
Little girl is anybody under 40.
Yeah.
they're all watching Yo Gabba Gabba.
Oh,
No, they don't know about Yo Gabba Dabba.
I still say that's the best birthday song I've heard for a while. The Ting Ting's version of that on Yo Gabba Gabba,
no.
which
Yeah,
I swear
yeah.
should be a kids show made by the Ramones.
Yeah, Kerry, next thing you know, that will be paired up with the Gangnam Style.
Well, doesn't-
Gabba was someone sitting around looking at their sex toy drawer going, we can make a kid show out of this.
The Groove Is in Your Heart. I'm trying to think of the group that sing that.
Delight.
D-Light, thank you. Okay. The guy that played bass or sang bass, the black guy from D-Light, didn't that look like the same guy on Yo Gabba Gabba with the orange fro and the big thick 70s glasses?
That bass player was Bootsy Collins from Parliament Funkadelic.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah, Bootsy, yeah.
Oh,
I couldn't remember his name, but I mean, you look at him and you look at the one on Yo Gabba Gabba, and you think that's it, or it's a relation, one of the two.
Lance Robertson, DJ Lance.
DJ Lance.
Guys, I have an Artemis 1 update.
Oh, what we got?
It is about 65,000 miles from, well, little over 65,000 miles from the moon. Headed in that direction, but it has slowed down to 657 miles per hour.
Wow.
Sort of like traffic on I-75 going to Chattanooga.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's on cruise control. That's what it is.
But yeah, at that rate, that speed, it should be there probably Monday.
Well, it's
Unless
got to go a quarter of a million miles.
Yeah, but it's been slowing down.
Have they deployed the solar cell project yet?
Oh yeah. Let's not talk about that.
No, wait a minute. The first one, the one they launched 3 years ago, just burned up in orbit. Okay. The one they just launched, do you know something about that one? I don't know, Joe.
Yeah, but Les posted about it.
Oh dear.
It's not communicating.
Oh, okay, yeah, I saw that. They can't establish communication with it, so something got messed up somewhere.
Probably sitting out in Florida for so long the battery died.
That's what I'm afraid of. The battery died.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, John, what you posted in the Stupid O'Clock group earlier, I noticed got a rise out of Stephanie.
The asteroid that's going to wipe out Earth?
Yeah.
Another one?
So,
Another one, yeah.
I posted
this week.
I posted a Facebook watch.
Anytime I buy a lottery ticket, I always post one of those things about, the asteroid going to destroy Earth, because I figure if you got 1,000,000,000 to 1 odds of one or the other, you might as well.
I'll tell you, the one that wipes us out, we'll never see coming because it's going to hit in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Wherever it hits, it'll be the middle of the day.
I've got to tell you, if there's pretty much equal odds between winning the lottery and civilization being destroyed by an asteroid, I probably got a better chance of winning the lottery.
Well, I posted this Facebook watch video in the group today just to pretty much do the same thing to see what Stephanie would say about it. And supposedly it was something that Neil Young talked about, that they would never go back to the moon. There's no way you could. And the more, it's not a very long video, but the more you watch it, it gets into all the stuff about the moon is colonized on the far side by aliens and different things, and that certain things that NASA was kind of pixelating to keep from people seeing from the photographs and everything. And it just, the more you watch it, the wilder it gets. And I just figured Stephanie's going to be looking at that and then her head's going to explode, you know.
No, she knows better. She knows better. She's an actual scientist, not like
it's just that the whole thing, that the way they build it up, they're saying, you know, this is why we never went back.
No, the reason we never went back is easy. It's two words. It's
it's
Richard Nixon.
It's amazing how people will believe in lizard people, but they won't believe that Congress doesn't want to approve funding.
Yeah, really. And NASA's budget would buy what? One toilet for the military?
Yeah.
I actually know the answer to this. If they pulled all of NASA's funding and put it into the food stamp program on January 1st, it would be sent before 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Wow.
People have the exact wrong idea about how much we spend on NASA compared to everything else in the budget. I mean, it's a drop in the bucket. It's a drop in the bucket.
NASA gets 1/10 of 1 cent for every dollar of the United States budget.
If that.
Well, we don't have to worry about it now because we got billionaires funding it. So,
yeah, but they've only got so much money. Eventually,
you know, if I were emperor of the if I were the emperor of the United States, and it could happen, one of the things I would do, you know, they have these lotteries that most of them fund education. Is the theory behind it. Right?
Yeah.
I want to see lotteries for NASA. That you have a NASA lottery ticket that the funding goes toward NASA, National Park Service.
Yep.
Okay. A War Memorial Foundation for upkeep, National Park Service, a lottery, a War Memorial Foundation for all these museum ships and all these museum aircraft and ships and stuff like that around the nation, of maintaining those and things of that nature. They really need to find alternate funding for these guys because the government can't seem to make a budget every year.
Excuse me.
Any year that Congress can't agree upon a budget and the government has to go into shutdown, they should not get paid for that year.
Have a lottery.
That's my theory. Is all these idiots that are sitting in Congress, well, we can't agree on a budget. Well, you don't get paid this year then, because that's the one thing you actually need to do is keep the government running.
You want to really hit them where it hurts?
Yeah.
Make sure the lobbyists can't pay them.
Hey, John, also have a lottery.
Any year you can't approve a budget, you can't run for re-election. That's your last year. That is your last term in Congress.
You're fired right then.
Yeah, you're fired.
And you
minute
lose your
one of,
retirement.
You don't have a government budget, you're fired. You're working out your last 2 weeks.
And then if you get any money from lobbyists, it automatically goes to the IRS. 100%.
Hey, John, you
Yeah.
forgot the lottery to finish Mount Rushmore and Chief Crazy Horse monuments.
That would be part of the National Park Service money.
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
Yep,
National Park
sure
Service
would.
Daggum, it's already 5 minutes to 1.
Yep, we're running up against the
It's almost the midnight hour here.
Yeah, Dan.
yes.
Dan,
dear.
are you going to be doing the last man standing?
I am relatively pain free, so yep, I'm going to do it. If it starts
You may be
hurting too
doing
much,
that standing.
if it starts hurting too much, I'll end the show early. But right now, I'm doing okay.
All right. Well, it's set up, ready to go.
Hi, Rob.
Yep, I'm in there right now. So Carrie,
Oh, God.
one day I got to have a long talk with that boy.
I don't know if it's doing you good.
She's hanging around. He's hanging
Hey,
around
Dan.
Cindy Cap too much.
Of course it won't. Oh, can you imagine those two working together?
Oh yeah.
Hey, Dan. Do Curie and Thessaly know each other?
I doubt
Probably
it
not.
seriously.
You need to put those two people in a room together with 2 knives and see which one comes out alive. That's just all I'm gonna say.
Wesley.
Wesley.
Yeah.
And play that
Hey.
Star Trek music.
There's no doubt.
No. I don't want Thessaly in any way whatsoever. Excuse me. Much as
She
I
could
love
play it
Carrie.
on her violin
Oh,
as she's jabbing Carrie with it.
Have you ever seen someone jabbed in the eye with a violin bow?
Yeah.
hey, now
I've been jabbing the eye with a violin bow.
knowing Thessaly, she would figure out a way to attach a bayonet.
My first bully used to
It's
play
not
violin.
sharpened already.
She could
Well,
shoot it like
guys.
an arrow.
She's not violent. She's very,
She's
very
violent.
sweet. She's not
Violent.
violent. She's very,
She's
very
prone
sweet.
to violence.
All these violins on TV. Oh wait, violins? Never mind.
Mm.
All right. It's time to say goodnight, everybody.
Good
Bye,
night, everybody.
Candios.
Good night, everybody.
Absolutely about that.
Oh, I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.
I am Paul.